I've met very few people that haven't been really awesome. And once you get a conversation going, it's like, yeah, I'm concerned about that too. What can we do? Collaborate. So, and don't think you're too old. You're not too old. Don't think there's so many limiting, the limiting mindset. There's so many limiting beliefs that you have there. Don't believe any of them.
Welcome to the Phase 4 podcast, inspired by Vishen Lakhiani and Ajit Nawalkar, co-founders of EverCoach, a division of Vine Valley. In this podcast, we speak to coaches and creatives about where they were, where they are, and where they are going. This is the intersection of what we focus on expands, and your story is your superpower. My guest today is Mark Larsen. He has a podcast called Dreamcatcher, the podcast. And if you like this show, you're definitely going to like his show. There's a lot of similarities. We talk a lot about personal growth, dream intending, meditation, all the things that we need to do to take care of ourselves so that we can serve others. And Mark does that so beautifully. And today he's going to talk about that and more. So Mark, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thanks for having me. I look forward to this. I'm glad that the time is finally here. So, but yeah, thanks for having me on your podcast.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I was on Mark's podcast before. I'll leave the links to that episode in the show notes as well. But as we kind of just start off, I always love to begin with how did you end up in this space before we get into your podcast? How did you end up here?
It goes back to when my wife had her cancer, and it was so many things that we were going to do, before the cancer, and it was advanced cancer, and she lived through it, but it was clarifying. It gives you clarity when you live through something like that. Even the spouse, because it's like, you better be doing everything you want to do right now because it's all you have. And I got to looking at people. I'm in Central Nebraska, very conservative area, and most of the people were doing, it's like, well, I'll do that when I have time, when I have money, when I retire. And it's just like, no, you need to do it now. And like I told them, I said, because with our healthcare system in the United States, it still was a tremendous amount of money. And it's like, we had to find that money to save her life. And it's just like, you need to put that same mindset to your goals, your dreams. If you want to go to, like, sure, I did last year, Italy, not cheap, but talk about best education, awesome. But it has to become non-negotiable. But you just have to start giving that as much importance as you would if somebody was sick, because this is your life, and you don't get a moment back. And you hate that because everybody's like, well, I'll do that next year. It's like, if you're here, do it today. Do it today. And even if you can only start small, start. Because, starting can be definitely the most difficult part of it. Although there is times where you wonder if that was the case, because when you're going after your dreams, I believe God puts things in your path to make you grow so you can become that person that can live that dream. So, I can tell you in the last year, I've been growing a lot. It has been a lot of leveling up, my gosh. But, and everybody's like, would you regret, do you regret that? And it's like, no, this is making me move forward. So, and all the other people that I've gone through, the stuff I've gone through, I can relate more directly to what they're going through. So, yeah, I've always had a heart for helping people. And I just see so many people struggling. I don't know if where you're at in the United States, there are so many people struggling with not being able to pay bills, not, in the basics. And I just want to show them that even with what I traveling or what I do, my meditations and stuff, and I'm 61. And it's just like, you're not too old. Don't give me that excuse. Everybody's like, well, you should be retiring. It's like, I will never retire. And it's just like, get out there and do it. You know the dream. And for my podcast, I always ask what your dreams were when you were growing up. Most people remember those, but they've long ago forgotten them. And it's just like, go after, or dreams evolve too, make you have new dreams. But do it every day. Do something every day towards your dream. And there'll be days that it works really well, and other days it'll suck. But just go for it. And that's how it got to me to this passionate with, and I find doing my podcast, that we're very much alike around the world. We're all kind of struggling with a lot of the same things, and which I think has been really awesome doing podcasting because of the people I meet, like you. I just love that. So, can you tell I'm passionate about it? I just want to help people get to a better life. Seeing.
I'm with you.
So,
I'm with you 100%. I have this one motivation audio, and the guy says, like, live every day as if it's your last.
Yes.
One day it will be. And we don't know that. Like, I'll do it tomorrow. But you don't know if tomorrow is not guaranteed. So nope. I love it. I love what you're doing. And that story with your wife, to beat that, there's so much in there. Like, just that one story is so much gold, right? Finding the money when the money's not there. But we did it anyway because that's what we had to do.
Yep.
Overcoming cancer and then getting almost like a new lease on life where it's like, okay, now I'm going to go to Italy and do those things.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you know John Grisham? Do you read any John Grisham? I know I like more nonfiction.
So, no, I mean, that is, I just taking it all in. Everybody's like, and that's another thing. People think they can stop learning after that school. It's like, you keep on taking in everything you can, reading, podcasts, whatever it is. Writing books. I've been told I should write a book. And I have no idea how to write a book, but just keep on learning. It almost becomes, I don't know, contagious, but addictive. It's like
it's addictive.
More.
Because you see the results, right? And you're like, oh, I did that. I could do more. What else could I do?
Exactly. And it's just like sports now, because when I was younger, I wasn't much into sports and stuff like that. I was kind of the geek and, with all the side. Now, when I joined the Y maybe 3 years ago, and I have an awesome, he's an awesome coach, and he has really been really good about it. And I love sports now. It's just like all this stuff. I want to do it all. I have a lot of people want me to do pickleball, which I have never done yet, but I want to. I started running because of Caleb. I started all this stuff that it's like, gosh, I love this, and sports, and just the mindset too. That. And it's like, this is awesome too. But one thing, that you never know. It's just like, I always tell everybody, throw out what society has taught you, because they want to keep you kind of in a box. They want to keep you you go to school, get a job, and retire and basically die. And if you go on 1 or 2 vacations a year, you should be grateful for that. It's like, I'm grateful for that, but I want much more than that.
You. Yeah, that's how I thought it was, right? I was like, okay, you got to get the house, the wife, the cars, got it all. And then I was like, now what? Have to wait until retire and all this stuff, right? And he's like, no, you need to dream, right? And you're right. It does get taken out of us as kids. And there's a box you have to go in, right? Little girls should be seen, not heard. Big guys don't cry and all this kind of stuff. And then we end up living into it. So I love that. The reason I said John Grisham, he has this book called Playing for Pizza. And it's about
I heard that one. Okay.
It's about a high school quarterback, or he used to be a quarterback, but he never made it to the pros. And he ends up going to Italy and trying to get this team going. But the scenery, the settings, the writing, it describes Italy perfectly from top to bottom. So if you were there, you might enjoy that.
I definitely got to check that out. But Playing for Peace. Okay, I've not heard of that one. I got to check that out. No, it was hard to come back to the United States from Italy. I immediately fell in love with it. I loved it. And we were in Southern Park. One thing, I loved the mindset of the people. They actually was important. Food was better. They took time for family rather than running around like crazy people in the United States.
It seems like Europe. All Europe seems like it's just laid back. Like I remember I went to Ireland and my cousin is like, we're at the deli counter in the grocery store and he's just talking and there's like a line up for him and he's talking to the woman for like half an hour. His wife is like getting dinner ready and we're just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it does sound like that. I love that mindset. I don't know if it was that way in Ireland, but at 5:30, everybody shuts down to have a meal in the afternoon. With their family. They get it. What's important. and they don't know how to
running.
they get the rest of it. Oh my gosh, dude. Uh,
All right, so maybe let's go towards the podcast now. So I love the name, so share everything about it with us.
well, the podcast actually, was brought about by I've had coaches. Caleb's my coach for physical and that kind of thing, and then I've had other coaches to kind of bring me along. And this was actually a coach that out of California, Crystal, and she's like, "Have you ever thought about?" Because she was helping me along with this journey. And she's had a podcast for a long time. And she came up to me one day and she's just like, "What about a podcast?" And it's like, me? Because when I was younger, I was very, very, very quiet. I mean, I didn't hardly speak at all. And it's like, it was really intimidating. And she's like, "Just give it a try." And I look back to those first 10 episodes and it's like, which you don't know. But it's just, it's comical. It's just like, oh, wow. But then I tell everybody, it's like, you got to start that way. But it just, after 10, because when I first started, I had questions. It was very, very structured. Oh my gosh, I'm so structured. And then after that, it's just like, I think I'm just going to do like we're doing. We both have a coffee, just kind of like we're having a great, conversation. And that is when it started. I guess I was more comfortable, and I think maybe the guests could feel that. And then, which I also believe, the people, the resources that I need to make the podcast better start showing up for me. And it's just like, so this is so cool. It is so cool. And the people I met, and it just, and it continued, because for a long time I was doing podcasts by myself, which I find very hard to fill that much time. But now the people are coming to me, because for a long time I basically had a Facebook group. And I don't know if that's where we met, but there's Facebook groups out there where you can find guests. And it's just been, I've had a lot more people coming to me because they like my vision. And but it's just, I always tell people, I'm trying to everybody in this area, I'm getting on podcasts. I think everybody should have their own podcast. It's just like, everybody's got a message, their backstory. And I'm doing pretty well, actually. And which is kind of fun, because a lot of people, it's like, just forget about your age. It's like, you're never too old. You're on technology, so you're old. Or not too. You're never too old, unless you're dead. And but only until then. But it's just, I just find it the way. And actually, after I got started doing the podcast, a little bit into it, and everything, you might think I'm crazy too. God came to me, and he's like, I don't know why we talked about this, but he came to me and he's like, "Mark," he said, "people are not getting my message in churches," because he said many people don't go to church or have that avenue anymore. And he says, "I want to have your podcast kind of turn into an avenue for me." And which, if it hasn't really gone that direction, but I talk about it almost every day now, and he kind of tells me what I'm supposed to do for the day. And it's been really interesting, because I've had some people that he's guided me to this business that I'd never been to. And the gal comes out, and this gal is 8 months free from drugs today, from meth and all that stuff. But I mean, I had never been there and never met her. And she's like, "I think you're my dream come true," or not dream, prayer come true, I should say. And it's just like, okay, this is cool. And she gave me a hug, and it's like, okay, I'm a hugger. Let's do this. It's just like, this is, but if that's one thing with this podcast, and whatever God directs me to, has been awesome, because it's just, I meet people like that. But yeah, the podcast, like I said, pretty much everybody have one. Some people are definitely away and don't want to do that, and that's cool. But tell your backstory. You don't know how many people are waiting for your story to make it like, they went through it too. Maybe we can collaborate. I'm a big collaborator. And it's just like, you just need to start doing, just get into the 21st century. And yes, maybe scary if you never had to do with it. But I can show you. I can have you having a podcast. I told yesterday, yes. It's like my phone. It's like, let's do a podcast right now. It's just like the technology has made it so great that you could do a podcast pretty much anywhere. And everybody still thinks it needs to be structured. And I had one the other day, and they wanted to know if I could edit it. It's like, I don't do much editing. I do very little editing. And it just makes it real. And I, as we were talking before with artificial intelligence, I'm going the other way. Actually, I'm starting a thing with, instead of artificial, I'm doing authentic intelligence. And I'm going to start featuring everybody that is everything that I find that is really authentic, that's making a difference in the world. But I guess that's why and I also get to talk. That's about the podcast too. So, but I want to have that as an avenue, especially to showcase and everything that because God has been, I've been very blessed. Cheryl, my wife, is still here, talk about a blessing. And it's just, I want to use that as an avenue to make the world a better place, showcase God. But yeah, and just start, there's the one thing, starting a podcast is so recent. Like we were talking, some new technology is always coming out, or new program, or new a lot of things that, and it doesn't have to be good. If it is, it's you showcasing you. That's what you need. So, so yeah, that's probably longer than you wanted to hear.
No, it's perfect. My buddy has a podcast where you're saying, and the way he does it, because he's so busy, right? This guy's awesome. First of all, on Friday night when he finishes his day job, he sets an alarm for 60 hours, and that's his time. Until Monday morning when he has to go back, right? So he's constantly aware, okay, I have 47 hours. I got 23 more hours, right? Do stuff. But his podcast, the way he does it is he exchanges voice notes with people, and then he clips them together. And it's only a 5-minute. It's brilliant. It's called The Morning Catalyst, and it's just this 5-minute little hit of inspiration. But that's how he did it. And so it's like he can still feature people, but it's crazy, right? The technology.
It is. And I love that idea. That is really cool. So, I mean, gosh, I love that. That gives me a whole bunch of more ideas.
Yeah. And I definitely get the thing with God, man. I wrote a book, and in the dedication, I said, I asked God for help, and she answered. And so it feels like it comes through me. I don't call it God, he, she, source, universe, all of it, right? There's something happening that's moving things together, that got us in this room together, that there's just divine forces all around. And so I feel like what you're saying when I'm writing a lot, where I'm just like, I'll write something, and then I drop the pen. I'm like, who wrote that? Like, I know it wasn't me. It was God coming through me to write. So very cool.
It is. It is like I do that quite often. It's like, God, that was you, wasn't it? Yeah, it's just, and some of the stuff I say, it's just like, I didn't say that, it's just like that get me in trouble here. So, but
I was telling a story once. My daughter dropped the ice cream, and there was no wind. It was a hot summer day. We were just beside the car, and then all of a sudden this napkin floated up out of nowhere. Oh. Yeah, and I was just like, thank you. Obviously, as God knows, I need the napkin right now.
I love that. And when you get, and that's one thing my wife has been trying to, bless you, and I'm trying to get so in tune and hearing God, and she's frustrated she can't. And I thought maybe she's trying too hard. Maybe, I don't know. I told her, I said, I know how I hear God, but I don't know how she would hear God. And she's praying and everything else. And it's cool. And then I have angel numbers. And angel numbers, oh my gosh, they come fast and furious. It's just they really, it's like, okay, this is, and a lot of times when I'm asking for direction, because there's some days most days he corrects me, but there's days it's like, so what do I need to do today, to glorify you and your work and everything.
What are angel numbers?
101, 222, 12, 12, 11, 11, 10, 10, 444, 555, 888 is abundance. There's so many numbers.
11. I see 11 all the time.
11 is awesome because they say that, think of that as gates. The 11, and you're going through, you're going forward. That's a very good number. That's a very good angel number. So awesome. So I'm glad to see that.
Yeah. So I think storytelling has come into the forefront the last year or two a lot. Everything you ever look at is story. So how does storytelling play a role in your podcast?
Storytelling is kind of telling. Oh, bless you. So I get to share what I've been through with somebody else, or the world, and And I find so many people think they're going through something all by themselves. They think I'm the only one that's gone through, like when Cheryl went through cancer, she talked to a lot of people that were going through, and they collaborate, not collaborate, but they kind of got together and compared, and it was good. But storytelling is something like where you don't have enough money to pay bills, or you don't have, when we went to Italy, but it was a challenge, but we made it happen. That story, what was the process of getting to that point? How we were able to pay those gigantic bills when Cheryl had her cancer. And, but it's just giving people, I think it's maybe comfort. I hope it's giving comfort that they know that they're not going through this by themselves. And that, and like a 61-year-old man can be doing a podcast, it's like they have these stories that are in their head that sometimes they don't even realize. And it's like, this is my story. Your story is unique too. Go out there and tell it. The world is waiting for you. People are waiting for you. And I just want to show people that they're not in this world alone. We're all in it together. And
couldn't agree more. It's I think sometimes we think our story is insignificant or not important, or people don't want to hear it, and it's just not true, right?
No, it is.
One thing I do, I facilitate groups for chronic pain, mental health, and anxiety and depression. And a lot of the people in these groups have diseases that you can't see. So they're not in a wheelchair, right? But they have fibromyalgia. And so you can't see their pain. They look normal. And so
right.
what happens with these people is that they don't even want to tell their story because people are like, oh, you look normal. What's wrong, right? And then they come in the group and exactly what you said. It's like, oh my God, they don't want to tell their wife or their partner or their friends because they just don't get it. Then they come in the group and they see other people are going through the exact same thing. And then it just opens it up so much. So I agree.
Definitely, it's a win-win. It's really a good thing.
What kind of dreams are you working on now?
Traveling the world. Actually doing the podcast. That's one thing with this podcast, the Dreamcatcher podcast. I've been invited so many different places around the world. So working on being able to actually travel to these places, that is a dream, to do these podcasts in person. And, we've been invited to Portugal twice. All over the world. And New Zealand once. And then if that weren't such a long trip, I would love to go to New Zealand, Australia a couple times.
You got to Toronto if you want.
Hey, I never
go up.
I would love to come visit you. I will take you up on that. So, it's just awesome to do, meet the people. It's good that we can meet this way, but it's just a whole different thing when you meet the people in person. And working on that, it'll build me up so I can afford, pay for all that. If the flight over to Italy last year for Sharon, Lufthansa did a great job, but it was a lot of money. It was very much. And actually Italy was cheap. After we got there, it's like, wow, everything's really affordable here. So, but just growing into the person, and also growing into a person that shows that you don't have to grow old. Everybody's like, because I don't have much hair, or, let it go gray, or let it all this stuff. It's like, why do I want to do that? Show people, it's just like, I want to show people that there's so many things out there now that you don't have to look, your age, and don't act your age. Some people act old. Some people act old when they're 20, but showing them as an example, that's the dream. I want to be example for God's word, for, living your best life, taking your dreams. I want everybody to live their best life. I just want everybody to realize that you don't need to do most people don't work 40 hours anymore, which more than 40 hours, and, and be satisfied with that. Don't settle. Don't settle for a mediocre life, because God put you here for a reason. And I believe that everybody's got a thing that they need to be working on, to show, example. And so I'm just I don't like that word. I am doing things that, that I hopefully will resonate with a lot of people, to show I want to be an example, and I know in the little trips, even when Cheryl and I take in Nebraska and Kansas, resonate with an amazing amount of people. It just surprises me. But it's just like, well, listen, that costs a lot of money. It's like, I would almost rather do that than watch TV or something like that. I don't watch TV much, but it's just like it's the people you meet, the things you see, and basically be an example. But the number one thing is to travel the world and do the podcast in person. I just or do a pop-up podcast, maybe in Toronto. I don't know if people would be. I've been not trying yet. I do that work too much. Do a pop-up podcast here. It's like, want to do a podcast right now? And I've had a few people, but most people don't. And they want to be more structured, which I can understand that. But just be an example. That's a dream. The dream that the person, people, entity, whatever, that I was looking for when I was younger, because I thought I did the thing out of college. I went to college and all that stuff, and I thought, this really sucks. I worked for restaurant management down in Dallas, Texas, and I was doing 100 hours a week. And it's like, this is all there is. And I want the kids, for one thing, with college, I'm always in education, but I don't know if you really need to go to college anymore because of the expense. YouTube, look at YouTube. There's so much education online, and just show people that you can also learn there, and you need to keep learning. And, but yeah.
I just start a podcast, right? It's like, okay, go on YouTube and figure it out. You know who Ed Milet is?
Yeah, definitely. I see him and then.
Yeah, he's awesome, right? So at one point in his podcast, I don't know if it's still there, was #1 for whatever. And he said the story of when he started, he didn't even know anything about it. He recorded it. He didn't know how to get it he didn't know anything. But his saying is always like, just get me in the room and I'll figure it out once I'm in there. And that's it, right?
Yeah. And he's good. He spoke on stage and he was excellent. Oh my gosh. I mean, because we all were kind of like, how's this guy going to be? And the room, it was like 6,000, it was a room, a huge room. And there wasn't, you could hear a pin drop. And he's amazing person, really amazing. So, and
powerful speaker.
Oh yeah, very, very much.
So I guess, how has your growth mindset evolved because of the podcast? I know for myself, like, it just pushes me to go more and more. And I'm at probably 185 episodes. I know you're well over 200, but from the very beginning to now, as the editor, producer, writer, and host, you must learn so many things. So how has that evolved for yourself?
It has evolved greatly. When I look back and it's like, I do that? It's just like, because if I'd have thought of that when I was starting in those first 10 episodes, I might have not kept on going. But the growth mindset was gradual enough that I didn't even realize hardly I was doing it. And now I look back, it's like, I know how to do that. I know how to do that. And it's just like, because I think a lot of times people with the growth mindset think they have to do it right now. It's like, I got to learn it all right now. And it's not been that way. And you have to pivot. You have to do stuff with them. Because growth mindset doesn't mean it's like, oh, I'm going to be a podcaster and this is the way it's going to be. And it's like, no, it's good. What a podcast looked to me when I started 3.5 years ago to now is so different. And, but yeah, I think people with their growth mindset, awesome. But I think you need to be flexible. You need to go with the flow on what it needs to have for that moment. Learn new technology. Just like the things I learned. Because the first few, I didn't vet the people. And I as you know, I always talk before now, and which I think is awesome, but you just kind of learn because the growth mindset is not, it's can be very uncomfortable. It can be very uncomfortable, but you kind of get comfortable being uncomfortable. And I've learned that a lot. And
the best way to stretch yourself is just get comfortable being uncomfortable.
You do. It is. It's just, and it's like, people are like, doesn't that bother you? It's like, it may bother you, and I'm still going forward with it. I'm not stopping being uncomfortable. Because if I stopped every time I was uncomfortable, I stopped long ago. And it's just
here, or that uncomfortable feeling. I used to it would hold me back, but now I'm like, it's almost like a sign where, oh, okay, this is where we need to go. Like, this is important. Otherwise, why would I care, right?
Yes. No, it is good. And it's like anything. And you're not going to know how to do anything. And you have to have a growth mindset. And you just, and then when you look back, it's like, that's awesome. All this stuff I learned and now know how to do, and I can share, to people on how to get started with a podcast or whatever, and it's just makes me smile. Makes me smile a lot. It's awesome.
Me too. As we begin to wind down, if this episode resonates with you, please like, subscribe, share, follow, and reach out to Mark. He's got an awesome podcast. Definitely, like I said at the beginning, if you like this, you're going to love his. It's the same direction. We're both trying to do the same thing and make the world a better place by doing this. And I guess, Mark, you have so much energy, positive energy. You're motivated. I know a little about your morning routine. I would love to know more, but I'm wondering what happens. Like, it can't be every day is awesome. So there's got to be days when there's a dip and you don't feel like it. How do you stay motivated and continue with the momentum at the time?
There are. In fact, I had one last week. It was really down day. It was very much. I put it up on my Facebook that I really not sure why. I just was down. And, but I just kind of allowed myself to be that way, and just, I went out in nature. Nature always helps me a lot. And, I just thought, I'm just going to kind of, I meditate, but I don't do traditional. Like, like people think meditation is. I have done that, but I just kind of talk to God. I actually, wild life kind of resonates with me greatly. I have a lot. Because we started with owls, but I have a lot of birds that come over. In fact, where I go to this one lake, these two ducks always come over and be with me, and they're just wild up. But my wife gets a kick out of it. But I just kind of be with nature and just kind of let life go and I don't have very many of those days, thankfully, but it kind of is like a recharge. It's like maybe I needed that to recharge for the next layup or whatever it is. Because the next day I was back to, normal. But that day I just was down and it just, and I'm not really depressed, but just down, not my usual hyper.
Well, that's perfect. There's a couple pieces of gold in there. So the one thing you said is that you sit with it. So that's it. Don't try to force it away. Don't have to go get drunk. Just sit with it. You're not supposed to be happy the whole time. Yeah. And another one is just nature, right? You go connect with nature. Get quiet. Go look at a tree. Go look at a body of water. Did you see the Aurora Borealis last week?
Yes, it actually's gotten down here. We don't get to see a Borealis, but it's been, especially with all going on, it's actually been down in our area quite a bit lately. So.
I saw it was all the way down in Alabama.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah, it was cool.
No, it is. It's just a whole different. It's just mesmerizing.
It puts you in awe of like, whoa.
Right? And it's so crazy. And I told Cheryl, I said, God made this world so beautiful. He could have just made it very plain Jane, but he puts like where the leaves turn in the fall and things like that. And it just makes me so grateful for I get to be part of that beautiful world. So, and that is very beautiful. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Usually it's like, this year seems like there's all the time and it's usually later at night, but I guess in the summer, it's later. You have to wait till dark. So my son's 10, but he was like, let's go right now. And we went out and checked it out. So that was cool.
I love that. And that thing with your kid, we need to keep that all through our life, that awe, and that is, That is definitely what we need to keep them. And that is also a thing I try to instill. They say I'm childlike. It's like, okay, I do it.
Yeah, I love it. I'm telling you, that's the secret is to staying young, is to be curious like a child and playful and just look at all. And like, if you can look through the world through a child, I'm blessed because I have 2 children, so I get to live their childhood with them. And it's like, wow. But yeah, that's a secret to creativity for sure.
Very, very much. That definitely.
And so I'm wondering, this one, take wherever you want. So do you have like a favorite episode besides mine? Or do you have a weird episode that you've ever had? Like, what's the weirdest or the most coolest?
The weirdest one was, that was the second one where I didn't bet the guy. The guy was an author, but he was also a Nazi. So, yeah. And it's like, that one didn't get on. But it's like, okay, we got to find out. The author was fine. Yeah, he kind of did what he was. And it's like, nah, I could believe there's actually people that still are like that. But yeah, you're an author, but not the kind of books I'd want to read. Or it's just favorite. Gosh, I mean, yours is awesome. I mean, but I don't ever really have. I mean, they're all kind of my favorite for different reasons. Um, I'm trying to think when that really sticks out. Um, Probably one that is from this young man in Portugal. He's going after his dreams of being a soccer player, and he is. I was never that way at 15. He's originally from Canada. He and he his parents wanted to give him the best chance as possible with being a soccer player, and he's doing pretty well. In fact, he got on a team just recently, and yeah, he was a good podcast. And when we talk hours. You know, he inspires me. Just, I mean, he's going after it, and he's still kind of at that age where he's a young man, but he's still kind of got that awe, you know, really like that. And I we were supposed to talk yesterday, and he had something come up, but he is. That is, I think, if people would just watch what you see Jack's doing, you know, going after that, but he's such a genuine person. He's just, and he's one that is invited us over to Portugal. He's in Lisbon, and it's just like you are, and he really, truly, truly loves soccer, and he just oozes it, and it just that's got to be one of them. That's got to be on the top, you know, on the top podcast because he's and he's not afraid. He knows what he wants. He's going to do whatever it takes. And he's got hurt recently a couple times too. And hasn't slowed him down. Got hit on the head the other day and it almost knocked him out, but it didn't keep him down long. So,
yeah, something like that. It's like obviously you want to get the dream of playing professional soccer, but it's not even that. It's just trying to do it. It doesn't matter if you make it or not, right? At least you could go, because otherwise you go to your deathbed and like, oh, I wish I did that. Well, I tried to do it. It didn't work. Maybe God has a better plan, but at least I tried.
Yeah. And Jack is all in. And it's just a blessing that his family is all in with him, that they moved the whole family over to Portugal. And yeah, it is. No, he's got it all lined up for when we come over there.
Yeah.
He is
awesome.
Yeah, he is definitely all in. And I wish I were more all in like him. I mean, there's nothing going to stop him from being that. So, I know I will see him in the near future being probably a very good soccer player. So, if not one of the best on his team.
All right. So this is the Phase 4 podcast, and Phase 4 in the 6-phase meditation by Vishen Lakhiani is all about creating your future 3 years from today. So where is Mark Larsen 3 years from today?
3 years from today? I can actually tell you that. I am actually, this house where I'm at, actually, God's kind of showed me what it looks like. This house, actually, my parents moved to this house when I was 2. So I know this house well, but this house was built in 48 and needs some updates. But also, it would have hot tub and barrel sauna over here. Actually, my studio over across the way, because we have about 5 acres here. Studio octagon, you know, with glass around. Actually have out to the south, I have a gym and a studio for my wife and place for, I don't know if I would buy a nice car. I might Turo. I don't know if you brought Turo. I say probably Turo in Canada, probably, where you just, these people have these nice cars that you can just rent them from them, which I don't know if I would ever do that. Yeah, I've done in BMWs a couple of times. And I don't know. I would love to just try and drive like a Lambo or, you know, a McLaren or any of those. I don't know. I kind of out of the country might not be real good for those kind of cars in Nebraska, but then probably a private jet. But I wouldn't mind. I don't mind flying regular flights. I know if I go on a flight like over to Italy again, I got to be in first class because I couldn't take the seats that long. I couldn't hardly walk that. But private jet, going around to events to help people. You know, keep on doing this one person. You know, the podcast still is going, and then having a foundation, you know, it's foundation that would kind of have to encompass this. And and maybe a little bit, because I actually have a guy in New York that kind of, Jesse helps me with speaking, but he's also one that doesn't say you need to be on stage. You know, he's where, however you get your voice in first. In fact, he's the one who went to Italy. And, but being on stage, and I've been maybe asked to speak to kids, like high school and stuff, which I would definitely do. And just showing people more the way, just being really, really physical fit, maybe more muscular, maybe more hair. I don't know. Bald's not bad. It's but and having just being more of an example, having God even more to maybe a 21st century church. I'm not sure how that looks yet, but I don't know if I like the word church. Maybe church is stupid, but just showing people the way, showing people their gift, and having people take back their power, because people have given so much of their power away. And but just showing that that gift I didn't know for years, but showing people their gift and showing how they can, the way I'm making a difference in the world. So yeah, I've kind of thought about it a bit. So
that's good. Yeah, keep thinking about it, because when you have that vision, your brain will go find it, right? You're giving your brain a target. A couple more questions. I have a screener I give everyone and ask them what their favorite authors and some of their favorite books, mostly so that I can get some new books that I never met or heard about. And you are the first person who ever wrote Naveen Jain. I didn't know anybody else knew who Naveen Jain is.
I've been down. Yeah,
wow.
He was in Vegas, and one of the things I went there, and we did all this stuff there, and which was very interesting. So yeah, he's such a nice guy. He's just very, when he speaks, he's just kind of. So how do you know him?
I just know him from some webinars and things like microbiome and just moonshots, right? He talks about moonshots where you just take this.
Yeah. So have you done his stuff with checking, all the stuff, your markers and stuff and everything else that you can do with him?
Viome? I haven't done the Viome yet, no. But that's some cool technology, right?
It is. It was amazing. Some of the stuff really stood out that I knew I was kind of had a sensitivity to. But some of the stuff is like, wow, I would have never guessed. One was peppers. And in this thing, it said that peppers have something in them that most people are sensitive to. But it was very, very interesting when that came back. Yeah, but if you ever get to see him, in person, because he was on the stage there, and he sat up there with the guest, and he just kind of reminded me of Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett's always kind of chill, and he was too in Vegas. He's just, he's got a mission, but he's just kind of, I don't know, comforting. It was just kind of like, it was very a different way.
A normal guy, eh?
What's that?
He just seems like a normal guy, and he's very, very smart, very open to, I guess, the Socratic method of questioning. Like, I don't think I know everything. Let's figure it out together,
Yeah. Yeah, no, he is, anything he's doing, I definitely pay attention to. So,
cool.
He is, that's one thing. I like going to Vegas to meet people in person. I just, it's just, I can read their books and stuff, but when it's like, I would like to see Warren Buffett in person too, actually. But, he's just down in Omaha, but, it's just, and that's one thing. The people you meet those things too. There was a huge, huge group, and I helped put the stuff on, so I got to be making sure the speakers were comfortable and everything, and it was these people I know in California that I got to know. Wanted to know if I would help put on their events in Vegas, so I did that for like 3 or 4 events, and it was so cool. I think I got hugs from some of those guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's just I just look at, and that's another thing I look back. It's like, I've met these people. I've talked to these people, and these people are just so down to earth when you get them just one-on-one. Talk to them in the hallway like that when they're getting ready to go on, or but
similar stories with people like that, and it's like, man, like, I guess in my former life I would have been scared to approach that person, and it's like, no, they're fine. But I think before I ask my final question, I always like to let the guests take it wherever they want. So it's like you have a message of hope, or if you have something to sell it, or wherever you want to go, take it away.
No, I just there's so much negativity in the world today. Don't believe it. I very rarely watch news, maybe local news, but don't believe what they're trying to. I'm got to watch my language here. It's basically to tell you, and because that is one thing with the podcast and going in person. People are pretty much all the same. Where any place I've done in the world, the podcasts, the people have the same concerns, same worries. We're all kind of in this together, and they try to divide us. They try to divide us greatly, and don't let them do that. It's just like go meet that person. Go meet that person in person. So because I've met very few people that haven't been really awesome, and once you get a conversation going, it's like, yeah, I'm concerned about that too. What can we do? Collaborate. So, and don't think you're too old. You're not too old. Don't think there's so many limiting, the limiting mindset. There's so many limiting beliefs that you have there. Don't believe any of them. Just break through them. It's just like, you are you. God put you here. You are still here. You have a reason to still be here. And just do what you have in your dream, your mind. It's like, I would love to do that. I would love to travel the world, like I was just saying, and do the podcast in person. It's like some people would say, that's, no way. Just like you said, you put it out there, and all the stuff comes to support you on that. And one time I was not at that place, but it's been awesome. Everything comes in and every resources, but no, just have hope. I know sometimes with our elections coming up in this country, United States, it can be hard to have hope, but I just know that there are most people in this country are good. Most people don't realize they're being manipulated, I believe, but or don't know they're being manipulated. But just know that there is so much hope. There's so much good. This is a great world. It's a beautiful world, like we were just saying. And just go out there and make a difference, because you can make a difference, because you are unique. You are the only one that is you. So go out and show the world and make the world a better place. So yep, that's kind of
a great message, right? Everybody wants to be seen, loved, heard, and we all feel this. We all have same feelings like that.
we do.
You're talking about never being too old. There was a woman in Toronto a couple years ago. She graduated master's degree at 76.
Awesome. That's so. I just love that when people do that. It's just like, and also, yeah, you're getting older, but it keeps you younger, I believe, too.
For sure. Just like
learn
going to the gym.
Keep the brain active, and it's wins all the way around.
Yeah. So my final question to wrap up this amazing conversation is, how can people reach you?
They can reach me, maybe my email. I can share my email. That we were talking about that beforehand, but I'm on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, and if I have Messenger, you can do that. I don't give a phone number out or anything like that, but I'm on social medias. I'm on TikTok. I'm on almost all of them. You can comment and say, let's, touch bases or just reach out to me. But yeah, Facebook, a little bit of Instagram, TikTok. TikTok always enough, because the other day when I went to give blood, they walked in and they said I was a TikToker. It's like, I'm not on TikTok near as much as I am on the rest of them, but yeah, and they knew I was. But social media, yeah, you can pretty much anywhere on social media. And Dreamcatcher the podcast on YouTube. That's on the YouTube channel.
Dreamcatcher the podcast, perfect. And there's another one there. Go give blood. Your little piece of blood that you give out of your body. Not only will it make you healthier by taking some blood out, you could save someone's life.
Yes, amen.
All right, Mark, I'm so grateful for your time today. Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate being on your podcast, and I look forward to carrying on our conversations in the future.
Me too.